Hello everyone, and welcome to the Hearthstone Weekly, bringing you the top decks, bringing you the top cards. Without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So, first things first, there was the first official patch for Hearthstone. And I mean a big patch, I don't mean the card changes that were sort of officially leaked by Blizzard, but these are from Hearthstone. Yeah, it's a bigger patch for that reason, basically. Top 8 decks of this week's tournament, top 5 neutral cards, and the state of the metagame. Something I'll be doing every week from now on, basically. Or every week I have a tournament to do. Patch day. First major patch. Many class changes and neutral changes was used in the tournament, so the decks here have been tested with the new stuff. My full review on the patch will be in the description. That's a fairly decently chunky video, but that's been done after we tested the things. It wasn't on the day, it was 4 or 5 days after the patch came out. So, top 8 decks. Sar came first with his Warlock mid-range deck. First Warlock we've seen, good job to him. Rea Shaman Tokens. Yep, that came up last time. You'll see that a lot around. Ferrarista, Hunter Control. There's always one Hunter deck, and it's always different. I like the Hunter players that try something original. Control is the polar opposite to what we're used to, being aggro, so good job Ferrarista. Kara, saying the same deck, proves he has a good deck. Let's be honest here, it proves he has a good deck and he knows how to use it. Another Shaman token deck. Spaji playing Shaman midrange. Actuarial playing Shaman midrange. Anglecrest playing Mage Tokens. Interesting spin on the token archetype. Dork's Mage Rage, interesting spin on the mid-range archetype while using Enrage with your hero power. Warlock mid-range, late game, things like Jiraxis and Sylvanas Windrunner to steal things, and Molten Giant. Early game, the Acidic Swamp Oozes and the Leper Gnomes and the Flame Imps. Mid game with some Spellbreaker, some Fury Protector, Karn Bloodhoof. It's just a mid-range deck in general. You get the early pressure, you get the chunk of the deck is in the mid game, and then some late game win conditions. Interesting deck. We haven't seen a Warlock one before like it, so good job. Shaman Tokens. Spin on the Shaman Token deck, really. Playing Violet Teacher in this deck. Still playing Cult Master, Bloodmage Thalnos as well, Big Game Hunter for really huge stuff. Fire Elemental to pick off the bigger stuff, Flame Tongue Totem to buff tokens. Harrison Jones for weapon destruction, things like that. A bunch of direct damage in this deck as well in spells. Interesting deck to play. I would recommend picking it up if you want a token deck. Also did the best. Hunter Control. Traps and AoE, and Eaglehorn just keeps charging up off your own traps. Very good at controlling the board until you get things like Ragnaros and Malagos, which is a card we haven't seen in a while. Out onto the field, win conditions. Things like Azure Drake is also for spell power in the mid game, Bloodmage for spell power in the early game, things like that. Very interesting deck. I haven't seen a deck like it yet, so I'm glad to see it make this far. Kara, Shaman Tokens. As I said, similar decks to last time. Got Raid Leader to buff tokens, got Illidan, Onyxia, and Hogger, the core of all token decks, along with Impomaster. Knife Juggler is also in here. Springs off all the tokens. Yep. Leroy's also in here because it springs off the Knife Juggler 3 times, because it just says summon, not to your field. Summon. Summon is awesome. Earth Elemental, really good for taunt. Doomhammer for board control. Spaji, Shaman midrange. Doomhammer for board control. Fire Elemental for more board control. You get the early pressure with Leper Gnome, and the mid-game removal with Hex. Rockbiter so that your smaller mid-game stuff deals with the huge late-game stuff. Same with Feral Spirits, Harrison Jones weapon destruction. Greenskin for Doomhammer. Draw 2 cards at once. Am I right, guys? Spiteful Smith again for Doomhammer, but it's also a really, really good minion on zones. 4/6. Fairly unique mid-range deck. Just because it's... there's some mini combos in here. I like mini combo decks where they're not huge combos that win the game. They're just sort of mini ones that help you along. I like that kind of design. So, Actuarial. Shaman midrange. Slightly later game. Slightly bigger stuff. Mountain Giant, Twilight Drake, the really big stuff between turn 5 and 6 usually. Alcair comes down late game, does a huge amount of damage. Leroy Jenkins, early game, does a huge amount of damage. Illidan, really good for token generating, and also good for mid-range. Token generator, and huge. Good job. Also, lots of removal in this deck. Anglecrest, Mage Tokens. Standard token archetype with secrets. That's the main bit to talk about this. Vaporize, Spellbender, Mirror Entity. And one counterspell. Why two Spellbender? It's mainly to intercept buffs. You can, instead of countering the buff, you can steal the buff. It's awesome. So Spellbender is really good now. Dorox. Dorox always brings a slightly interesting twist on any type of archetype he tries. In this case, 2 of everything. Look at all the 2s, man. Look at all the 2s. Has a lot of board wipe for late game, but the majority of the deck involves enrage and pinging your own stuff with acidic Swampoos to get rid of weapons that are really deadly to enrage minions. Chillwind Yeti being in there as well. He uses it in every deck. Not really something to look at with Dorox. With anyone else, you're thinking, wait a second, that's a Chillwind Yeti. Nah, with Dorox he'll play any vanilla creature. He loves them. Top 5 neutral cards. Now, on a scale of 1 to tokens, how many token generators are on here? Onyxia and Illidan, same story, still here. Illidan was actually played more. Impmaster is now played in 3 decks. Knife Juggler, 3 decks. Bloodmage was an interesting one to see here, but cheap spell power, cheap cycling, I like it. So, Illidan played in half of the top 8. He was playing mid-range decks because he's huge. He's a 7/6 for 6, let's be honest, people. And in token decks, he generates some of the most deadly tokens known to man, being 2/1s. 2/1 is so much more deadly than a 1/1. Not to mention, the Flames of Azeroth are actually good at getting through Taunt. They just break through Taunt, and if they can't break through Taunt, then Illidan does it for them because he's a 7/6, and he breaks through pretty much every Taunt minion in the format apart from Earth Elemental. Also really cheap for his ability and his stats. It's also a demon, so you can't play him in Warlock demon decks. Knife Juggler. Did not expect this to be here. After the nerf to a 3/2 from a 2/3, I did not expect him to be in top 5 cards, but he was. Testament to how much token decks are being played right now. He's always going to be good with tokens because he adds 1 damage to every single token generator every turn. Played in 3 decks. Onyxia. Played in 3 decks. Late game, tokens, he fills your board. If you get the Knife Juggler on the field on turn 8 and Onyxia, it's GG basically. Things like that. It's the most disgusting token generator in the game. Pretty much always will be by the looks of it, unless they print some stupid token generator thing. And it's just good. A bit expensive. I thought the hype had died down on this card, but it really hasn't. It's still being played because it's still good. Impmaster, 1/5 instead of 1/6. Still played in every single token deck. Pretty much always will be because it's just that good in token decks. What else am I supposed to say? It gives a 1/1 imp at the end of every single turn. Yep, played in a lot of decks. 3 to be precise. Bloodmage Thalnos. Interesting to see this here, but I guess it's really cheap and it gives spell power for AoE against token decks and mid-range decks, and it also draws you a card. It's like a super loot hoarder. It's just really nice. Play it if you have the slot. So, the state of the metagame. New segment. I'll be doing this in every single show. Currently, we've got a lot of mid-range and a lot of tokens. Do I think that this is going to stay the way it is? With the coin being used afterwards, probably yes. The main reason for this is the fact that no one's playing the cards needed to counter these decks. Seriously. Like, Pyromancer was given to us a week ago, and no one's playing Pyromancer. That's the reason for tokens doing so well. No one's playing the card that actually eats tokens for lunch. Pyromancer is the ultimate token killer, and no one's playing him. So, yeah, what am I supposed to say about that? It's just, if people want to lose to tokens, they won't play Pyromancer, and that's what happened. Besides that, Shaman is basically ruling standard. With Druid banned out of tournaments, Shaman seems to be the one that everyone's gone to, half of the decks being Shaman. It's not entirely Shaman. I mean, Mage after the buffs was there a bit, and Warlock and Hunter still hanging on, but Shaman is just insane right now. Anyway, this has been the Hearthstone Weekly, brought to you by Jotto. I will be doing this for every single tournament, so stay tuned. And have a nice day, everyone.